the supervolcanoes that could end the world, one is less than 1,000 miles from the United Kingdom. There are a number of supervolcanoes dotted all around the world, about 21, but they're finding new ones all the time. They're saying that the Aleutian Islands could be a chain of volcanoes which is actually part of a supervolcano, each threatening to end existence as we know it if they would have a super eruption. Iceland's newest tourist attraction opened this week after a volcano in the Reykjanes Peninsula erupted. The world's newest baby volcano formed on July 10 and is spewing out spatter bombs of molten lava into the surrounding crater, in the process attracting scores of onlookers. We know, of course, Iceland is on a mantle plume hotspot. Volcanoes are dotted all around the world, often in regions that most host the fault lines and volatile junctions between the Earth's surface. And while most are by nature harmless to the world at large, others, a group known as supervolcanoes, pose a serious threat to extinction as we know it if they would have a super eruption. And there are reports taking looks at menacing cohorts, including one that is less than 1,000 miles away from the UK. Campi Flegrei in Italy, around Naples. Campi Flegrei is Europe's only supervolcano, sitting a stone's throw away from the UK in geographic terms, less than 1,000 miles as the crow flies. Also known as the Flagrant Fields, Campi Flegrei is beneath Naples and was formed some 39,000 years ago. The event saw lava and rocks thrown hundreds of kilometers away in what was the most violent eruption in the past 200,000 years in Europe. What makes Campi Flegrei unique is the fact that it is the most densely populated volcanic region in the world, with 3 million people living in nearby Naples. In June, scientists said that the supervolcano, which last erupted in 1538, has a realistic possibility of erupting in the near future. And then we have the Yellowstone caldera. On the other side of the world sits Yellowstone, a supervolcano located in Wyoming. It's perhaps the most famous supervolcano, also has the potential to be the most powerful. Yellowstone has in recent years sprouted up more thermal springs, hinting at the continued activity beneath its surface. It last erupted 700,000 years ago, but experts say it should, in theory, explode once every million years. We're talking about super eruptions here. Estimates suggest that some 87,000 people would be killed immediately in an eruption, with millions more affected in the aftermath. Thousands of tons of ash would shoot into the atmosphere and travel as far as Europe, enveloping the continent in a cloud of thick smog. And not far from Yellowstone on the west coast, we have in California the Long Valley caldera, another supervolcano of the US. Long Valley is situated in California and has so much magma beneath its surface it could support an eruption equivalent to a massive event which occurred 767,000 years ago in Long Valley, which was a super eruption. The eruption back then released 140 cubic miles of material into the atmosphere. By comparison, the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption resulted in the release of 0.29 cubic miles. It's one of the world's largest calderas, measuring around 20 miles long, 11 miles wide, and up to 3,000 feet deep. In the last 5,000 years, an eruption has happened in Long Valley every 250 to 700 years. Then we have Lake Toba, located deep inside the Indonesian interior. This supervolcano is one of Earth's largest. Its last eruption was 74,000 years ago. An estimated 2,800 cubic kilometers of material was ejected into the atmosphere. It caused global temperatures to plummet for 10 years, covering swaths of Indonesia and nearby India in ash. An island in the middle of Lake Toba in Sumatra is slowly rising and is thought to be a sign that the Earth is bulging because of magma pressure below the surface. And then we have on the North Island of New Zealand the Lake Taupo supervolcano. Located beneath the surface of Lake Taupo is in the middle of New Zealand's North Island. Retrospective calculations suggest it only began erupting 300,000 years ago. It has rarely been quiet since. Tapo is responsible for the most recent supervolcano, coming in at around 26,500 years ago, when 1,200 cubic kilometers of pumice and ash were sent flying into the atmosphere. There have been 28 smaller eruptions since then, separated by about 50 and 5,000 years, hinted at just how volatile it is. Now, other supervolcanoes: Valles Caldera in the US, Aira Caldera in Japan, La Garita Caldera in the US, Mount Tambora, Indonesia, Baked Mountain, North Korea, and China. We're talking about Baktun, Mount Baktun. Kuri Lake, Russia, Karimsha, Russia, Bennett Lake in Canada, I didn't even know that, Cerro Galan in Argentina, Pascana Caldera in Chile, Pastos Grandes, Bolivia, Mount Io in Japan, and Kyushu, Japan. So that's quite a lot. This is on Express UK by Joel Day. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.